We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. We heard yesterday. The sun illuminates both internally and externally by expanding its radiation. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by expanding his universal form, maintains everything in the creation both internally and externally. Here, "75% expansion of his radiation, that is Krishna's radiation, is called his internal energy, whereas the 25% expansion is called the external energy of the Lord. The living entities who are residents of the spiritual as well as the material expansions are his marginal energy, Tatashta Shakti, and they are at liberty to live in either of the energies, external or internal. Those who live within the spiritual expansion of the Lord are called liberated souls, whereas the residents of the external expansion are called the conditioned souls. According to our choice, we may accept the service of Krishna or become averse to him by wanting to enjoy this Maya. Then we are exploiting, and as a reaction we have to get suffering. That is the deal. You cannot have only one. So if someone does not want to suffer, as no one wants, then he has to stop exploiting, enjoying all this. Otherwise, he can never finish. Means he can never be free of suffering. It is impossible. By any means you try to mitigate suffering, it will not be possible as long as you are trying to enjoy this material energy. But if someone understands this point by the grace of sadhu and becomes inclined to serve Krishna, he gives up all these enjoyments and he engages himself in the service of Krishna, then he is rescued from that suffering. No more suffering for him if he rectifies himself. Even he does not want to be free from reactions to his karma. He knows what I did, I did. Krishna is not my servant, I am his servant. So he is not praying to Krishna, you destroy this. No. He only wants his service, and because he only wants his service, he already rectified himself. So there is no necessity of him to suffer anymore. Those past reactions also, they will be destroyed by the grace of Krishna, not by the prayer of devotee. Automatically it will happen for those who will purely surrender to Krishna for his satisfaction only, not having any separate selfish desire. So that is our liberty. It is our choice. We are foolish when we want to enjoy Maya, because we'll get suffering. That is foolishness. So we need guidance of someone who is a wise person, that is devotee. He will tell us that is not good. You are eternal servant of Krishna. Not serving him is an offense. Because of that, you have to undergo all this suffering. So you have to submit to Krishna and serve him, then we can get real life, real happy life. Somritasya bhayasyesho martyam anam yat atyagat mahimaisha tato brahman purushasya duratya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller of immortality and fearlessness, and he is transcendental to death and the fruitive actions of the material world. O Narada, O Brahmana, it is therefore difficult to measure the glories of the Supreme Person. You cannot measure his by any material measurement. Even for liberated soul, pure devotee, you cannot measure. It's unlimited. So they are fearless and immortal, and also you will find it is also in Upanishad that fearlessness, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explained it also in relation to Sakya Rasa. Those who are in Dasya Rasa, at least in Vaikuntha, there is some awe and reverence, some fear is there. But in Sakya Rasa, there is no fear. They are fearless. So that type of fearlessness also one will get if he will be situated in that rasa. But of course here means this fear of material existence. I will die, I will suffer, I will different kinds of fears. That will be totally removed once one realizes his real self in relation to Krishna. Pareshu sarva bhutani pungshak sthiti pado vidu amritam kshemam abhayam trimurdnodhai murdasu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be known as the supreme reservoir of all material opulences by the 1/4 of his energy, in which all the living entities exist. Deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom from the anxieties of old age and disease exist in the kingdom of God, which is beyond the 3 higher planetary systems and beyond the material coverings. Once in our Delhi, Gurudev was staying in one house at that time, in Ashok Bihar. He told me, you should become a child of God, then there is no more problem. If you are a child of God, then there is no more problem. Because here it is stated, Supreme Personality is the supreme reservoir of all material opulences by only 1/4. But this is also unlimited. And there is 3/4 that is spiritual realms, that is also unlimited. But measurement is like spiritual, given like this. So someone in this world, I once went to India, and when going back, I met one person in Calcutta airport from America. So we spoke something. He was staying in Mayapur for a half year or something. Then I asked him what he's doing there in America for a living. He said nothing, because I have very rich parents. So there is no need. I am traveling, sometimes America, sometimes India, like this. So it can happen like that. by karma like this, that his parents are very rich, so no, everything is available to him, no trouble. So you can imagine if you are son of Supreme Lord, who is the owner of everything. These parents, they may have riches, but that is all temporary. It will be lost also, and there is some limit to that. But if you are child of God, who is the actual owner of everything, so can there be any difficulty for you? Either you staying in this material world or in transcendental world, and your father is omnipotent. If he's omnipotent, he can do whatever he likes. We saw in the case of Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him in so many ways, but could not do anything to Prahlad, because Krishna is controlling everything. He can change that. That sword will not cut, poison will not kill. He can change that. He has that capability. Or another is, Prahlad was sitting in the lap of Krishna. So, which sword, this material sword, can pierce through Krishna's transcendental form? And everything is controlled by him. So if you are a child of God, then there is no anxiety for your maintenance and for your protection. So Gurudev told me, you should become a child of God. Then there is no more problem. And we all, now I am telling, Gurudev that time only made me understand this point. And he said, I am not owning anything. Even this cloth is given to me by someone. He's instrumental, but actually God is giving everything. So one who is in that realization, he has no anxiety for maintenance and protection, and that is fixed. It is not temporary only, and it is real. Real relief you are having. No need of sleeping pills and these things. Some are very rich. They have many bodyguards to protect them. Still they are in anxiety, because you cannot remove that. But one who will surrender to Krishna like Prahlad, then he has no anxiety, no fear. Krishna is behind him. He's omnipotent and owner of everything. So, and this is possible for all, because you will find in Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he quoted from, I think, Shveta Shatarupanishad or somewhere, O Amritasya Putra, O you all sons of Amrita, Jivas, you are all sons of Amrita, you are sons of Supreme Lord. Amrita means nectar or immortality, immortal, that is Supreme Lord. You are all his sons. But the misfortune is we forgot that. We wanted to enjoy, so we forgot. Then we are having all these problems. Our Gurudev gave example, one son of a king went hunting, and by some misfortune he got lost in forest, could not find his way back home, so he was forced to beg then, to collect some fruits in the forest and to beg in some village and like this, and no cloth, all trouble. But one minister of the king, somehow by chance, he found him somewhere, And he told him, why you are begging here and undergoing so much trouble, all this? I will take you to your father. So when he took him to father and that relationship was re-established, then can there be any more problem like that? Like that? We are in Maya, but by the grace of Krishna through Shastra, that is Veda Mata, Mother, Veda, she will tell us who is your father, actual father. And Sadhu, he will also tell us who is our actual father, with whom we are related. When we re-establish that relationship and act in that relationship, then deathlessness, there is no more death, no more fear, and no more anxiety of old age and disease for you. Doesn't exist when you are in your real self in relation to Krishna and living in his realm or in his embrace. Someone may be like Prahlad, living in this material world, but he is living in embrace of Krishna. Krishna is everywhere. Hiranyakashipu asked him, where is your God? Prahlad said, he's everywhere. Prahlad is seeing this, so how he can have any fear? And everything is controlled by Krishna. So then Hiranyakashipu said, then why am I not seeing him in this pillar? And before that, he also asked him, from whom you are getting this strength, that you are not afraid of me? I conquered 3 worlds, all material, lower, middle, upper, all conquered. Everyone, they had to submit to Hiranyakashipu. He was oppressing everyone. Then Prahlad said, you are same strength. I am getting strength from same source as you are. No one is independent of him. We are all getting strength from same source. So Prahlad Maharaj is having that realization. He's seeing Krishna really everywhere, as it is. That is how it is. Now we are blind. We don't see that. So we are in anxiety. But Prahlad could see. That is why he was always calm and serene, our Gurudev told. And then why I'm not seeing in this pillar? Then Prahlad said, he's in that pillar also. Oh, really? Then I will kill your Bhagavan. First I will kill him, then I will kill you also. Then he struck and Nrsimha Bhagavan came out. Bol Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai. And the truth was there. Hiranyakashipu was thinking, I cannot be killed. And I am supreme. I am God. But the truth came knocking on his door. He was killed by someone who is superior to him. We may imagine many things, but that is not necessarily truth. Truth is truth. None of us can change that. We can only try to avoid it or accept it. But even if we try to avoid it, we will not be able to. Always we will be in anxiety, and also we cannot escape. Truth is truth. That is Supreme Lord. So one who will submit to Krishna, re-establish his eternal relation with him, he can get these things. So we can check whether I really submitted to God or not, or I am only outwardly showing, pretending or for name and fame, that I am a devotee. But there should be this fruit should be there. If someone really surrenders, then this is the fruit. If I'm not having that fruit, by the fruit you can know the tree. If fruit is there, tree is there. If there is no fruit, there is no tree. So if I'm not getting fruit, it means I did not surrender. So this we have to learn and practice under the guidance of Shastra and bona fide Guru, and come to that point of unconditional surrender and get the fruit. And that is natural, actual, healthy life. Now we are in diseased condition. Padas trayo bahishchasan aprajanam ya ashrama antas trilokyas tvaparo grihamedo brihad vrata. The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the 3 material worlds. I said some days back, Brihad Vrata, that is celibacy, big Vrata, big vow. So if one can tolerate that, then he will be really free from all problems. Otherwise, all problems will be created because of this. Griha Meda, attached to this family. So we will have to suffer, definitely. We cannot enjoy and think I will not suffer. That is impossible. Only when you give up enjoyment, but that we cannot do unless we get higher engagement. And from that higher engagement, service of Krishna, higher taste, we cannot give that up. So we have to engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. Then we can control all these 6 urges, of which this is one, genitals. So then you can be free. And such a person can govern the whole world. He is beyond this material world. So this we have to learn from pure devotees. Yes. Birth, death, old age, and disease are related to the material body. Here, the commentary. The climax of the system of Varna Ashram Dharma, or Sanatan Dharma, Varna Ashram Dharma is actually not Sanatan Dharma. But because it leads to Sanatan Dharma, it is also called as Sanatan Dharma. If one will follow Varna Ashram Dharma, I am Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and he will do those duties. By that following, he will purify his heart and come to the platform of transcendence, and that actual Sanatan Dharma is only Jiva Dharma. Jiva Dharma means service of Krishna transcendental. So, is clearly expressed here in this particular verse of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. The highest benefit that can be awarded to a human being is to train him to be detached from sex life, particularly because it is only due to sex indulgence that the conditioned life of material existence continues, birth after birth. Human civilization in which there is no control of sex life is a 4th-class civilization, because in such an atmosphere there is no liberation of the soul encaged in the material body. And that means birth, death, old age and disease. This suffering we have to get are related to the material body, and they have nothing to do with the spirit soul. But as long as the bodily attachment for sensual enjoyment is encouraged, the individual spirit soul is forced to continue the repetition of birth and death on account of the material body, which is compared to garments subjected to the law of deterioration. Yes. In order to award the highest benefit of human life, the Varna ashram system trains the follower to adopt the vow of celibacy beginning from the order of brahmachari. The brahmachari life is for students who are educated to follow strictly the vow of celibacy. Youngsters who have had no taste of sex life can easily follow the vow of celibacy, and once fixed in the principle of such a life, one can very easily continue to the highest perfectional stage, attaining the kingdom of the three-fourths energy of the Lord. They are Naishtiki brahmacharis. From birth till end of their life, they are in celibacy. They are very powerful. It is already explained that in the cosmos of three-fourths energy of the Lord, there is neither death nor fear, and one is full of the blissful life of happiness and knowledge. A householder attached to family life can easily give up such a life of sex indulgence if he has been trained in the principles of the life of a brahmachari. A householder is recommended to quit home at the end of 50 years and live a life in the forest. Then, being fully detached from family affection, he may accept the order of renunciation as a sannyasi, fully engaged in the service of the Lord. Any form of religious principles in which the followers are trained to pursue the vow of celibacy is good for the human being, because only those who are trained in that way can end the miserable life of material existence. So here it is further explained. The point is, this is the hook, which is, or anchor in this world, which is keeping us in this world. So we have to be trained to come out. Therefore, you will find in Shastra, people are naturally inclined to meat eating, alcohol drinking, and other intoxicants, and sexual enjoyment. Naturally, all conditioned souls. Therefore, Shastra does not encourage this, but they give some regulation through which one will be able to come out. It is for our own good. But as a drunkard who is diseased, he is under the influence of that, he will think, if someone does not give me wine, he's my enemy. He's not doing good for me. He's my enemy. Like that, we condition souls. We think, what this religion, they are trying to restrict and all this. That is all useless. But they don't know that that is beneficial for us in real sense. So one has to be trained according to his individual position to gradually engage himself more and more in the service of Krishna, and through regulation to gradually totally give up all these enjoyments, exploitation, also artificial renunciation, all this. Otherwise, if we will continue this thing, then inevitably suffering is there. You cannot avoid. When you will suffer, then you will not like it, and then you will blame everyone else. They're all to be blamed. No, I am getting the fruit of my own action. No one is to be blamed. It is I who exploited. It is I who enjoyed. It is I who did this, so I'm getting this fruit. No one else is to be blamed. And if you want to change this, if you don't want to suffer, then you have to give up this enjoyment. But this we cannot do unless we engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. So sadhu sangha is very necessary to encourage us and to guide us properly how we can change ourselves. This is the point of human life. We have to change ourselves. It is not that we will try to improve our sensual enjoyment. Now we got human birth, we are a little more intelligent, so we will improve that. No, it is just the opposite. You have to give up that. That is the sign of intelligence. Sriti vichakrame vishwan sashana nashane ubhe Sasha na nashane ubhe yat avidya cha purushas tu bhya tu bhayashraya. By his energies, the all-pervading personality of Godhead is thus comprehensively the master in the activities of controlling and in devotional service. He is the ultimate master of both nescience and effectual knowledge of all situations. He is controller of everything. When you are averse, then you are in ignorance. When you become inclined to him, then you get all knowledge, factual knowledge. In the field of nescience, activities are directed toward lording it over the creation. In the material world, therefore, everyone is engaged in acquiring material opulence to lord it over the material world. Therefore, there is always clash and frustration, which are the symptoms of nescience. We see in this world that when we are in ignorance, then we think I need my necessities, material opulence, more and more. And this world is limited. And more, I think if I will get more and more, then more happiness, more peace, but just opposite you are getting. But still we are going only after this, and this world is limited, and sooner or later we will come in clash with another conditioned soul who is also thinking, I need more and more material opulence, so if I will not get, if someone else will get it, I will not get it. That is not good. Then fight will start like this, because people are not having this understanding of simple living, high thinking. One has to engage himself in the service of Krishna and only accept minimum necessities for life in order to engage in the service of Krishna. So if someone is on this, there can be no clashing with others. And everyone has that quota given to him by Krishna. So if one is having this sort of thinking, and he will also be happy in the service of Krishna, and he will not need so much material things. So he will not be in clash. But if that ignorance is there, then always there will be clash. Especially now in Kali Yuga, it is age of quarrel. All the time quarrel, everywhere. Everywhere. You will see only this quarrel and physical fighting also, killing and all the time quarrel, Kali Yuga. Because of this ignorance. Then further, but in the field of knowledge, there is devotional service to the Lord, bhakti. Therefore, there is no chance of being contaminated by the influence of nescience or forgetfulness, avidya, in the liberated stage of devotional activities. The Lord is thus the proprietor of the fields, both of nescience and of cognition, and it remains the choice of the living entity to exist in either of the above regions. No one put us into this world, and no one will pull us out of this world and bring us to Supreme Lord unless we want it, work for that. We are conscious beings, we have free will of what we want to do. So if someone wants to enjoy Maya, then he will, as a result, be taken to this world. Not forcefully, but as a result of his wrong choice. If someone will become inclined to serve Krishna, then as a result of that, he will be taken to above regions by the grace of Krishna. But it is ultimately depends on us, on our choice, what we want. So we got this human birth only for this, to give up material existence and to accept real life in the service of Krishna. We have to be attracted to that rasa. Yasmat andam virat jagye bhutendriya gunatmaka tat dravyam atyagad vishvam gobich surya iva tapan. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations, like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. This world, material elements and also jivas, they are his potency. And he's beyond that as a potent. Achintya Beda Beda. Yadasya Nabhyan Nalinat Aham Asam Mahatmana Navidam Yagya Sambharan Purusha Va Yavan Rite. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahavishnu, Brahma is speaking, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. Teshu yagyasya pashava savana spataya kusha idam cha deva yajanam kalash choru gunanvitaha. For performing sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time. Here means spring. In all other practices, this time consideration is there, but not for chanting Harinam. Niyamita smarane nakalo. At any time, you can chant holy name, remember holy name. So here suitable time is for yagya, spring. Vastunya shadhaya sneha rasa loha mrido jalam richo yajum shi samani chatur hotram cha satama. Other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Samaveda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. Hotra Udgat. Yes. For the Hota, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma. These 4 priests you need. Everyone has his own duty to do. And the sponsor and everything. So here Maharaj, Srila Sai Maharaj is quickly concluding, but such expert Brahmana priests are very rare in this age of corruption and quarrel, and therefore in the present age only the yagya of chanting the holy name of the Lord is recommended. The scriptures enjoin Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gutira neta. Although Nam is easily available, but still there is also this how. We have to be careful. Trinada pisonichana, tarora pisahistona. It is very difficult. Tarora pisahistona. If you have false ego, it is impossible. Prabhupada wrote in commentary, Shikastaka, our Gurudev used to say that Prabhupada with unwavering firmness, you cannot move, unwavering, with unwavering firmness, Prabhupada told, one who has false ego, misconception of self, he cannot be humbler than a blade of grass, cannot be more tolerant than a tree, cannot give due respect to all, and cannot have that absence of desire for respect. It means cannot be devoid of desire for getting respect. Impossible. That false ego. If someone cuts the tree will not protest. But I protest. If someone cuts. So the false ego. And those who are Vaishnavas, like Haridas Thakur, Ambarish, Prahlad, someone is cutting them, actual cutting, but they don't, they tolerate, because they see I'm getting the fruits of my own actions by the will of Krishna, who is all good. So they can tolerate. But if there is any false ego, then it is impossible. So sadhu sangha and regular practice, proper sadhana bhakti and sadhu sangha when we will do, the more we can purify our heart from this false ego, the more we can have this percentage of these qualities, then that much will be the quality of our chanting. And when one will come out from false ego totally and will be established in eternal relation with Krishna, then he will continuously chant and with attention, and he will be able to tolerate everything by the grace of Krishna. Nama dheyani mantrascha dakshinascha vratani cha deva tanu kramah kalpah sankalpas tantram evacha. Other necessities include invoking the different names of the demigods by specific hymns and vows of recompense in accordance with the particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. Gatayo matayaschaiva prayaschitam samarpanam Purusha Vayaver ete Sambara Sambrita Maya. Thus, I had to arrange all these necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead, the Virat Rupa. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal Vishnu was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. Ultimately, it has to take you to the worship of Vishnu. Iti sambrita sambarah purusha vayaver aham tam eva purusham yagyam tanaiva yajam ishwaram. Thus I created the ingredients and paraphernalia for offering sacrifice out of the parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, and I perform the sacrifice to satisfy the Lord. Here Sai Maharaj saying, our Gurudev like to quote this. People in general are always anxious to have peace of mind or peace in the world, but they do not know how to achieve such a standard of peace in the world. Such peace in the world is obtainable by performances of sacrifice and by practice of austerity. Then this verse, our Gurudev also used to quote, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatavam shantim richati. Then you will get peace. Another is that aham hi sarva yagyanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha. There also is peace. And our Gurudev used to say, Swami Maharaj, he said there is a simple peace formula. In Gita you will find in his commentary, peace formula. It is Krishna is the owner of everything. Immediately you will have peace. Only you have to accept this. Then you can have peace. But if you think, I am the owner, I am enjoyer, I am renouncer, then you cannot but be disturbed constantly. So tomorrow we will further hear